So, are we going to get an answer as to how the hell Aizen got out of those seals? What, it's not going to be explained? Do we have to assume that it's because he's freaking Aizen? Of course. Hey guys, LunarSpawn27 here, bringing you Bleach, chapter 618, The Dark Arm. So the chapter begins with Shunsui releasing the other two seals, which happen to be Aizen's left eye and ankle. Okay, I know I did this bit in the intro, but seriously, how the hell did Aizen get out of those seals? Anyway, Shunsui offers Aizen to leave this place, which according to the translation notes, he was referring to the Muken, a word often used as part of the phrase Muken Jigoku, which is the Avisi hell, the eighth and most painful of the 8 hells in Buddhism. Think of it as the Buddhist equivalent to the 9 circles of hell. Now, the key to enter and exit Muken, which was the prison that Aizen was staying in, was buried inside Shunsui's heart. It was a condition that he had to follow from Central 46 in order to enter Muken and release 3 of Aizen's bindings. Another reason why Central 46 suggested this was so that Aizen wouldn't go so far as to kill Shunsui to get his hands on the Muken key, because if he did kill Shunsui, the Muken gates would remain sealed for all eternity. Aizen already knew this beforehand, but he was disappointed that Central 46 would go that far. Well, you can't really blame them for going that far, especially since, this is Aizen they're dealing with, but let's face it, nobody likes Central 46. Anyway, Shunsui already made some preparations for Aizen, a nice seat for him to sit on, and a team of people, I don't know what their deal is, to carry him outside. He asks Aizen if he doesn't wish to breathe the air of Soul Society after such a long time. However, one of the fodder white-cloaked idiots decided to add a restraint before Aizen takes a seat, which confirms that something really bad is going to happen to this guy, and no, he doesn't die. Instead, he loses all of his fingers and a part of his left hand. Because his Reiatsu was so intense and powerful, if they got close to him, let alone touch him, well, let's just say they'll be losing more than just their hands. Anyway, Shunsui asked Aizen if he thought that he was going to take a seat, went up outside, and lend his power to Soul Society, to which Shunsui said that he didn't mention anything about him fighting for Soul Society, just that their point of interests are about to intersect, which we can all assume he is referring to the Soul King. So Shunsui repeats himself, asking if Aizen wanted to breathe the fresh air once again. Aizen replies, "You mean the air of the very same Soul Society that just got trashed by Yhwach?" And speaking of Yhwach, we got back to the Soul King's palace where he tries to reach Mimihagi-sama, but is intercepted by this black thing. I don't know if this is Mimihagi-sama trying to create a barrier to protect himself, or it's something else. I honestly have no idea. Yhwach was still surprised that the Soul King's death was prevented, so he decides to destroy the Soul King along with Mimihagi-sama, but he's intercepted by Ichigo. Yoruichi then passes by, placing these tags on the floor, making some sort of symbol, creating this barrier. This barrier, I'm assuming, was to protect the Soul King, encasing it in some sort of crystal, leaving him in this form as the new Soul King. But it was already confirmed that this was going to be temporary, so again, it still begs the question on who's going to be the new permanent Soul King. So Yhwach asked Ichigo why he stopped him, since he was the one that cut down the Soul King. Also, since he has Quincy blood flowing through his veins, he should be unable to tolerate his very existence. Ichigo replies that he came here to stop him and protect Soul Society, the world of the living, Huecamundo, all of it. Typical shonen cliched speeches that he usually makes. Yhwach scoffs at this, saying that he was under the impression that there is none but him who is capable of doing this. Ichigo then yells out, "Even if there was someone other than me who could, it's not in me to run away with my tail between my legs and do nothing." And thus we get our very first Getsuga Tensho of 2015. Yes, Ichigo uses Getsuga Tensho on Yhwach, destroying part of the Soul King's palace, but didn't really do much damage on Yhwach. Now, one thing to point out about the Getsuga Tensho. This one was black, and before we knew about Ichigo's true Shinigami powers, we assumed that his Getsuga Tenshos were always white in his Shikai form, but black when he uses Bankai. Here now his Getsuga Tenshos are black. So does this mean that he's using his hollow powers, or does the color of the Getsuga Tensho depend on which Zanpakuto toe blade he's using? I'm not really sure. Anyway, Ichigo tells Yhwach that just because he's descended from his blood, it doesn't mean that he's going to let him have his own way. Yhwach replies, whether things go my way or not is simply a matter for these eyes of mine to decide, and that is where the chapter ends. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 618. What did I think? Honestly, I liked this chapter. The first half of the chapter I liked the most, especially when seeing Aizen and Shinsui interacting with each other. Even though it doesn't look like that Aizen is going to cooperate just yet, it's obvious that he will, since their interests are going to intersect. When Shinsui said that, he's obviously referring to the Soul King, and we all knew how Aizen felt about the Soul King, which makes me still believe that Aizen is going to become the new Soul King, or at least try to be. Then again, I don't know if Aizen being the new Soul King is a good idea. Him or Ichigo, it's still up for debate. But I can tell in the next couple of chapters, Aizen is going to arrive at the Soul King's palace. Is he going to fight against Yhwach? I don't know, but he might be a good match for him considering, well, he is the king of trolls after all. But after seeing a sneak peek of how powerful his Ryatsu is, he might be a good contender against Yhwach. But then again, there's still Ichigo, and we haven't seen his full potential with his Shinigami powers just yet. Also, we haven't seen the rest of the Shinigami just yet, so I'm assuming they'll be at the Soul King's palace within the next couple of chapters. There wasn't a lot of action, we just got to see Ichigo's Getsuga Tensho. I don't know if it's too soon for him to use that technique, but then again, it is his signature technique. But I'm hoping that there's going to be some more action in next week's chapter. Also, I hope he uses new techniques and not Getsuga Tenshos all the time. But the only people I'm interested in showing up, aside from Aizen, are the Sternritters, Haschwald, and Uryuu. I think this is a good opportunity for them to show up and fight against Ichigo and the others. I'm also still waiting to see the confrontation between Ichigo and Uryuu that still has to be done. So hopefully they'll appear in next week's chapter and take on Ichigo and the others. Otherwise, what is the point of bringing Chad, Orihime, and Ganju there with them? I mean, at least Yoruichi is doing something, but those three haven't been doing anything just yet. Well, Orihime did try to do something, but it failed. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for next week's chapter. So tell me guys, what do you think of this week's chapter of Bleach? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think of the dialogue shared between Aizen and Shinsui? And any predictions on what's going to happen in next week's chapter? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe to more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 618. I'm Lunar Spawn 27, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.